Hi everyone, this is Joseph, and we just helped 5 green card holders re-enter the country. 3 of them left the US for almost 6 years. 2 of them left the United States for almost 5 years. But the craziest thing about this is that all 5 of them do not have a US address. Isn't that crazy? I mean, the 200 cases that we've done in the past few years, they at least have like a friend's lease agreement, right? They have a US address that maybe they rented out, or they have an apartment, or, some sort of tie to the US. All 5, nothing, zip, nada, no Airbnb. They're all going to a hotel. We spent an entire year building the case. We've liaisoned with the officer multiple times, and today we executed the plan, picked them up, went to the officer, and came in smooth. You might say it's luck. I don't believe that. I don't want to live in the world where hard work means nothing. So, because I have that fundamental belief, and I'm constantly testing the boundaries of what works, what doesn't work, and if something doesn't work, what can we do to supplement it? I feel like it's really important and very valuable to make these type of videos, because in this case, in this one instance, leaving the US over 5 years, over 6 years, in 2025 June, in this administration, without US address, it is a very different ballgame compared to a couple years ago. And what can we use instead to help them improve the chance of winning? All right, so let me break it down for you. The first group of client, they were Hong Kong nationals. It's the mother and 2 children, and they've been gone for an extremely long time, right? Now, why were they gone? Well, they were going to an international school, they were studying, they had a life abroad, they couldn't come back because of COVID, because family was sick. Now, 5 years is an extremely long time. So what are the things that we use to incrementally boost the case just that much more, despite not having a US address? Well, one thing is we got a full complete set of the entire tax returns. That's number one. We got the complete set of the transcript of the international school for all the kids. And they were completely fluent in English, 100%. Been out of the US for 5 years, speaks better English than many teenagers I see in America today. And that's crazy. It might not be crazy to expats who live abroad, who go to international schools. Like, of course our English is good. But to the rest of the world, there are huge swaths of people in Mexico, right next to the United States, and they don't really learn English. There's people in France that doesn't speak English, they only speak French. You know what I'm saying? So halfway across the world, in Hong Kong, in a little tiny school, there are pockets of international students from K through 12 that are fluent. And that's not something that is actually quite common. Using the transcripts and using the tax returns, plus their sympathetic story about the mother taking care of the children, being overseas, we were able to furnish enough support that the officer gave them a fair interview, and they were able to come in very smooth. There's no I-193 waiver. They didn't have to basically apply for a reentry permit on the spot. They were able to get in and got him a car and sent them to the hotel. One caveat to this case this morning. As we were checking out of Mexico, I'm like, can I have your documents so we can check out of Mexico and get into the United States? They couldn't find their passports, they couldn't find their green cards. They really lost it. They flipped through all 3 luggages, they flipped through the backpack. The 2 sons were really nice and kind, looking through everything. The mother was panicking. She thought she was robbed. We're thinking about plan B, plan C. Should we go to the embassy, get a new passport? But how do we deal with the new green card? It was a fiasco, but that's why we send people out in teams of 2, right? So in that emergency, we only have a very short time period, by the way, right? Like, I picked them up at 7 a.m. We were supposed to enter at 8. That was the time of the appointment. And it was 7:35, and we were at the, Mexico border. We're gonna leave, and we have to go back to the hotel. So, where could it be? It was just super panic mode. Margaret was able to call the hotel, have them search the room, have them search everything. Margaret was able to go with the client, the mother, on a car back to the hotel to search for it. And then the sons and I were at the port of entry. We were rummaging through all the luggage. We were waiting in line, preserving our space so we don't have to wait in line again. There was so many things going on. The hotel couldn't find it, but eventually when the mother went back, it was like behind a counter, like against the wall. So they didn't see it, but she found it. She rushed back down. Margaret, came back with her, got back in line. We checked out, we got in line. Luckily, the officer was already waiting for us. So it was just like a 5-minute interview. Presented all the documents, explained everything, no problem, and came in. Now I've learned that before even leaving the hotel, I will ask all my clients, can you just double check you have your green card and passport with you? Now, in videos past, there was once where they left the backpack on the bus, so I have to run out and chase down a bus, but just constantly checking if they have, because anything else, if you lost the luggage, you don't have clothes, let's just buy new ones, right? You lost luggage, you lost your electronics, just buy new ones. But if you don't have your green card and you left the US for 6 years, then we will really have to do the I-93, and that will be a pain in the butt for everybody involved. Glad that went well. The second client, Japanese nationals, again, we worked on this for a whole year, contacted us last year in June. Throughout this entire period, prepared documents, and they're planning on relocating back to the US. 2 Japanese citizens lived in the US for a long time before moving back to Japan to take care of the mother, but now they're finally, the mother's in a nursing home, they're ready to come back, so now they're officially coming back. Again, no US address, but super strong Christian, deep faith, fluent in English, worked here, lived here for years and years, and was able to explain to the officer that now they're relocating back in a situation in Japan. How do you really judge these cases, right? Is it because they're from Hong Kong that officers were nicer? Is it because they're Japanese nationals that even though they left the US for 5 years without US address, it's okay, But fundamentally, throughout this entire year of going back and forth with the officer, it was really important to have the tax returns, and it was really important to show that they belonged in the US. So all 3, there's kids in the US, high school and college age. They're relocating back. There's a strong intent. Both of these clients, they don't have a pattern of exiting and entering. It's always been, we couldn't come back for this specific reason, but now we're re-entering, and now we're staying, and we're building up the next chapter of our life. The reality is, COVID disrupted a lot of things. Some people couldn't come back within just 2 years. Some people couldn't come back within 3 years, and they had to leave even before that. And for many people, the time just kind of went on, and they just thought the green card was lost, and they didn't believe they could get it back. Both groups, the people from Hong Kong and the family from Japan, none of the people around them believed that they would succeed, and everybody was scared to death for them to go on this trip. But they had faith. This was the last chance. We worked hard for an entire year, and it worked. We believe that there are reasonable officers that in preparing the case well and presenting ourselves honestly, clearly, without any lies or tricks, and the officer let us in. The confidence of that is just so important. So again, very happy to report these 2 success stories for reference. Hopefully it's helpful. A lot of our viewers said, they use it as a reference. So thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll keep on making content like this. If you like it, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Bye-bye.